Chuks, thank you so much for joining me today and having this Black History Month conversation with me. It's so important that we, give our students and our alumni this platform. And I'm so happy you joined me. So give us just a little kind of a high level who you are, what you're doing now, post App Academy, and all the good stuff.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, my name is Chukwuemeka, or Chuks is what I usually go by, Ota. I currently am a software engineer in data science at NISM Technologies, based out of California. I graduated from App Academy. Oh man, it seems like so long that it wasn't though.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does. In June of last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I spent about 6 months job searching. I started this job at the beginning of January. I guess you have to, that's like a high level overview about everything I'm doing right now.
So you're pretty new to your role. Like, did you start last month as in January 2022 or like a year ago?
Yeah, no, like January 2022.
Brand
I
new.
just started, yeah.
How are you feeling kind of as a new, newcomer to tech and a new
Yeah, so it's been a little overwhelming, but it's like a fun overwhelming, right? So the learning model has been similar to App Academy, so it doesn't feel that different, but the difference is now I get paid to do it. So it's a pretty big difference.
I mean, hey, that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah, right. But it's been awesome so far. Everybody, all of my seniors and everyone has been like incredibly helpful, like way more helpful than I could have ever imagined, and have been like really helpful and helping me learn and just taking like a vested interest in me being an actual good software engineer. So it's been great.
That is awesome.
Mhm.
Well, we're here to talk, mostly about Black
Of course.
History Month. So I'd love to know kind of what it means to you. Is there a way that you kind of celebrate, commemorate with, just either with yourself or family, friends?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So funnily enough, as a kid, like preteen, teenager, I kind of resented Black History Month. So my parents are very proud to be Black and very into Black history. So I didn't so much resent the month. Um, More so what Black History Month meant to me then was I know that on the weekends, I'm not going to get to hang out with my friends. Instead, we're going to, like the Civil Rights Museum. During the week, I don't get to play video games because I'm got like a book assignment from my mom, or we're watching documentaries on History Channel, stuff like that. However, what that's up to me as I've gotten older is really give me a good foundation and make me incredibly grateful for where I am right now, right? Because I'm only here on the backs of those people, right, that made it possible for me to have the same rights as everyone else, to not have to worry about so much about the color of my skin when working. I mean, of course, it's still a concern, but for it not to, actively hinder me from doing things, right? So in addition to that, I think it really made me proud to be a Black person. Like I said, I didn't really feel that way, as a younger, when I didn't really understand the importance of the stuff that I was watching and learning. However, now that I'm older, I realize just how it made me feel okay to be a Black person, right? So now every month, I can't say that I have so much of a special um, celebration or anything, but I mean, I still like take time to read about Black people and about Black achievements and things like that. So
Absolutely. That's amazing. How do you feel then, kind of going off of that?
yeah.
Um, you know, Obviously at App Academy, we're constantly trying to improve the experience, not only in tech education, but also in the tech industry for, you as an employee, and what we can do kind of on the front end to help make that experience better. So what can App Academy do, or really just schools, other boot camps, education centers in general kind of do to take action to kind of increase knowledge around Black History Month and the effects on students and employees in the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I've been thinking about this question for a while, right? So, and I don't know if I come up with just a super strong answer, and it's because I'm proud of what App Academy has done so far. So I've really appreciated. So I worked at App Academy before my current job. I worked a stint at App Academy doing some things, and it seemed like there was a. I mean, during my 2 or 3 months here, I did a microaggressions training. I did a few other trainings in sensitivity to um, other people's cultures, and there's even a question to get into App Academy about how you feel about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I feel like uh, these small steps, like being cognizant of these things, making the people that are coming into App Academy aware, hiring good people, and doing things like this interview that I'm in right now, or the panel at the end of this month. Um, I would say that App Academy is already taking a lot of steps in the correct direction. So,
Awesome. Well, hey, we're proud to hear it. I know you kind of mentioned that you do, some readings on Black achievements and kind of people in your space, but do you have any that you recommend, or just ways that people can kind of start to find those resources, learn about achievements and movements that are happening?
sure. Uh, it's hard for me to plug these things just because, like, so a couple of them are like diversity in tech, which is just like a Twitter account that just posts that I
Okay,
get newsletters from, stuff like that.
awesome.
Um, and so I guess when it comes to stuff like that, I would even encourage people to more so focus on um, the history side of things. Like, it's important for to be proud of my people, which I am, but colors or books like The Color of Law really give you an insight into like the severity of things that were happening and like how impactful that stuff can be on us now.
Absolutely. Those are great. So this year's theme is Black health and wellness. So I wanted to kind of hear what you think about, or what comes to mind when you hear this topic, whether as it relates to your life or to your community. But I
Mhm.
think it's an awesome topic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's one that kind of hits home for me. So before I was a software engineer, I was a therapist, like a mental health therapist.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah. So the health and wellness thing is something that's still really important to me. So when I think about Black health and wellness, right, and you think about traditionally and historically how difficult it's been for Black people to get appropriate health care, it's it seems like something that's in the past. However, um, I'll keep the story as succinct as I can. I'm sorry.
You have all the time.
So there was I worked in a predominantly white area, but there's a predominantly Black one about an hour away from where I was working at the time. So I decided I was actually approached to come and see, but when I got there, I realized, and after working with some of these kids, and like a lot of them are really thoughtful and really helpful. However, there's like a lot of kids that had a lot of unresolved issues. And a lot of those unresolved issues came from the fact that the people that were supposed to be helping them, uh, the their illnesses and their issues were kind of treated as lesser than, if that makes sense. So the
Yeah.
language around the way some of these kids were handled, the kind of dismissal of these behaviors is like, oh, these are just like Black kids that grew up whatever, in poor neighborhoods, whatever, blah blah blah. Where and I sat down and talked to a bunch of these kids, um, and a lot of it was unresolved issues. A lot of them have mental illnesses. A lot of them have problems that the people that were there just didn't address because it just became part of it. They just saw it as like, oh, this is just a part of who they are, right? As opposed to like my other race kids, so like my white kids or who what have you, in other parts where these anger issues and all of these other things were taken so seriously. I just I myself didn't really think that it was it was so much of an issue now with a lot of Black people being healthcare and stuff like that. But just seeing that huge disparity of the way that these kids were handled was really eye opening to me. Um, so when I think about that, I think about the fact that there's still a lot of work to be done in healthcare to kind of close that gap in the way that Black wellness is talked about, the way that Black wellness is handled in general. But that's something that's going to take a long time, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think you kind of nailed it on the head. So I'm glad that this is kind of the theme this year,
Mhm.
to hope, shed some light on that. But that's all the questions I've got for you. Is there anything that you kind of want to speak to in regards to Black History Month or the tech industry? Obviously it's always our goal to expand diversity within the industry. So would love to hear any kind of final thoughts you have around that, or words of encouragement.
Right.
I'll let you take the floor.
No, right. Okay. So there's just a couple things I wanted to touch on. So firstly is just kind of like I don't know if this will get published, but just a message to other Black engineers wanting to break into the field. It is possible and they do want to help you. I can say it that way. Although I know that there's not a ton of me, like for instance, I got hired in a hiring class of 15 people and I am one of one Black person in. However, uh, it's how can I say this eloquently? It's possible. I'm trying not to sound redundant, but it's possible.
Yeah.
It's uh, as somebody who didn't have a software engineering background at all before about 2 years ago, and to someone who's a black kid or who was a black kid with a funny name, I'm now here, and I've got to go to work after this interview. So it's the opportunities are there.
Well, those are definitely words of encouragement, and we're trying, but we're always also trying to learn
Mhm.
here at App Academy, but also in the industry in general. And I hope that, that's all we can do is hope and try and learn that we want to expand the access to this type of education. It's why we created App Academy Open, so anyone, anywhere, as long as you've got, internet access and a computer, you can just start to learn entirely for free. And we also have, scholarships available as well. But your
I didn't know
insight
that.
and, your experience is infinitely better than all of that. So I appreciate you.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. Thank you guys for having me. I was surprised isn't the right word, but I was very happy to hear from you guys about doing something like this. So I thought it was really, really cool. It makes me proud to have gone to App Academy.